How's it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm your host, Cash. Welcome to the channel. This is Weekly Recap. Let's get into it. I'll tell you all about it. This is basically me talking about operating this truck in America for 1 week, and I'll tell you all about it. I don't talk about the carrier I'm leased to, but I'm leased to an 80-20 split carrier. I run a fuel-efficient operation. And that's it. Let's get into it. I like to go Minnesota out and back, spend some time at home, rinse, repeat, do it all over again. I don't go more than 7 days on these weeks. So sometimes it's condensed, sometimes it's, full 7, whatever. It, but I make no bones about it. I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to brag. In no way is this bragging or complaining. It's just telling you what is and what was, and to give you a perspective on the market. So let's go over it. This week here is from early June 2023. If you're watching this in the future, thank you. Think about smashing that like button for me if you don't mind. I mean, you can do it now in the present, but if you're in the future, what's the future like? But anyway, back to the story here. So I started out last week, not this week, the week before. I did a really big load out east, and that took up basically a whole week. That was like a 6-day load. So this is the backhaul from that load, and this is going to make up the whole week here. So one load this week. It was a backhaul from North Carolina, 2 picks, 3 drops from North Carolina back to Minnesota. And this was a 4-day work week. Very bam, bam, bam pickups and deliveries. I did both the deliveries were right together, and then we went bam, 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 delivered and done. Went home 4 days on the week. So keep that in mind when we get to the money part of this. This is a 4-day week. This isn't a full week. I didn't sell oranges by the freeway exit for 7 days on this one. Only for 4 days did I do that. So anyway, like I said, it was a 55-degree load. It was 38,000 pounds, and 2 picks in North Carolina and 3 drops along the way back home. I don't mind loads like that because you take some of the weight off. You get lighter as you go. Got really good fuel economy, even for pulling that 38,000 pounds across the mountains. Did really good for the week. I was probably 8 plus for the week. So pretty darn happy about that. Been getting really good fuel economy here lately with the weather getting warm. It's just at this point with my aerodynamic fuel efficient truck, my real thing is the wind right now. If we get the wind going with us, we're probably 8 plus. If we're going into the wind, it depends on how fast I got to go, because everybody asks me a lot, well, not everybody, not everyone, but a lot of people ask me, how fast do you go? What speed do you run? It's very, very fluid. Okay. I pick my speed based on how much time I have, the wind, the weather. That's kind of how I pick my speed. I might go 60 miles an hour. I might go 70 miles an hour. You're probably never going to find me going over 70, maybe 70 and a 1/10 or whatever, just whatever the cruise sets at around 70. Very rare I'm up around there. I would say probably about half of my miles in this truck are 65 miles an hour or less. I really like that fuel economy. On this load here, I had most of the weight off in Illinois, and then I had, maybe like 10,000 pounds I was carrying from Illinois up to Minnesota to make the final stop. And I knew I was going home. I was going to get the 34-hour reset after this. I knew there was no getting there early. I was going to Walmart, and I was like way ahead. And I said, you know what? Let's do a little testing. Let's drop her down 60 miles an hour. It's kind of rural through Wisconsin there and, southern Minnesota. So I said, I'm not going to be in anybody's way. That is another factor, too. Like, if there's a lot of traffic out, I'm not going to go 58 miles an hour on the freeway. I'm not going to create a huge traffic backup behind me. It's just not my style. I don't want, I don't want the bad karma of holding everybody's day up. You know what I mean? So, but out through there, it's pretty rural. I figure, hey, I'm good. I'll crank her down to 60 miles an hour and, see what we do. But yeah, 10,000 in the box from basically Chicago area up to southern Minnesota. I was getting like 9.7 miles per gallon at 60 miles an hour. So yeah, excuse me. That's 8. Yeah, I was over 9. I was 9. Almost 10 miles per gallon up through there. I thought I said 8 there for 8.7, but no, 9 points, almost 10 miles per gallon. I think if I could have bumped it down to 57 or so, I think I might have could have got that 10 miles per gallon, but at the end of the day, that just seems like it's taken forever at 57 to me, So, but I had basically no wind, so that was nice. That's the big factor for me this time of year is try to not fight that wind. If the wind's really bad and I got time, like I said, I'll drop it down like that, and not fight the wind as much. But there are some loads where it's got to be ran at 70 miles an hour for time constraints or because of time constraints, and you just got to go into that wind at 70. And that on those loads, I look at it like this: we're talking long-term averages of a truck. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going into a 25 mile an hour wind and I got to run 70 and I'm getting 6 miles per gallon, I don't really care because it's long-term averages. That's really where it's at. Same thing with the money. Okay, getting to the money. It's about long-term averages. You know what I mean? So I'll have some good weeks. I'll have some mediocre weeks, and I'll even have some bad weeks. But it's about long-term averages. Another thing in trucking, people ask me, how do you structure your business? And I always say, what? No, I say, what are you talking about? Um, and then, do you go for mile rate per mile? Do you go for, I go for the best load I can find at the time that suits my needs. That's what I go for. Because to me, the money is about the long term averages. I don't get too caught up in that day rate. I don't get too caught up in that per mile rate. Of course, I want them to be the most they can be, but I don't control the rate 100%. You know what I mean? I control my rate a little bit because I can say no, I don't want to haul that for that rate, or I can ask for more money. But at the end of the day, my customer is the one that really controls the price, the majority of the price. Because if they're willing to pay it, they are. And if not, there's a ton of trucks out here in this market. So we're dealing with that. But let's get into the numbers of the week. That load paid $3,250, $32.50 on a run back from North Carolina to Minnesota. That was 1553 all miles. I had a pretty nice little deadhead down there to get that. 1553 all miles, 1433 loaded miles for 120 deadhead miles. That's 8% deadhead. It's not horrible, but on loads that aren't paying that great and have a lot of leg work, you don't want to deadhead too much because it really smacks that profit upside the head. Let's go over per mile rate. That's $2.12 per mile. Every mile the truck turned. That's $1.70 a mile to me. My 80%. That's $1.70 a mile. I'm still quite profitable at that rate. Not as much as I'd like to be, but we're still profitable at that rate. And that's $2.27 a loaded mile. When they called me with that load, I was like, that's not doing bad out of North Carolina. So yeah, I'm gonna haul that freight. Spent $7.62 on diesel fuel. I need diesel. Get those shirts in my merch tent. I need diesel. $98 on reefer fuel. I don't know if I said it or not, that was 55 degrees that load. $44 on tolls riding back up through there for a total veritable cost of $904. So we bring over my 2,600. That's my 80%, 2,600 minus that 904 variable cost out of that. I'm at 1696. I threw 300 of that 1696 into my maintenance account. I'm going to be needing steer tires probably before winter, so you got to get that maintenance account built up a little bit. So preparing for that. A nice set of steer tires is not cheap these days. So that leaves me $13.96 to do what I got to do with. Yeah, that's 4 days of work for $13.96. So just happy that I don't have a truck payment currently. That way I can make some profit. But times are tough right now, if you guys didn't know. The big deal right now is just there's no freight to haul. If you guys notice that, volumes are so down. It's unbelievable. I can't remember the last time I saw volumes like this in the summer. You know what I mean? Even during 2020, during that thing that happened in 2020 that I shall not mention on YouTube, that thing kind of got rates going crazy in the summertime. So we even had a good summer that year. This year, this might be one of the worst summers I've ever seen. I've been doing this for 17 years now, and owner operating for 14 of that. So yeah, about 13 of that owner operating. So it's probably one of the worst summers I've ever seen. There's just no freight out there. You get to certain areas and you look on that load board, and there's nothing. There's nothing. Like one load available per 150-mile radius on a reefer trailer. That's craziness, but that's where we're at right now. I had 49 cents per mile for the week fuel cost. That's just the truck's fuel. That does not include a reefer fuel or DEF fluid, because hey, DEF is not a fuel, it's a fluid. That's it, guys. That's the week. Appreciate everybody watching. If you made it this far, think about subscribing, ring that bell, get notified. Check out the merch tent. We got hats available now. And take care of each other out there, guys. Remember, people are more important than trucking. Quick, I just want to remind everybody about the Mudflap app. If you're not using Mudflap, check it out, download it. It should be part of your fueling program. It's a free app. Go download it from the Apple or Android store. You sign up using credit card or bank account. No credit checks, nothing like that. No fuel card needed. Get yourself huge discounts on fuel. I buy about half of my fuel through it right now. It's an amazing free app. It's 100% legit. Sign up using my promo code there, and I'll get $10 in free fuel. You'll get $10 in free fuel. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.